Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those who fall into neither category, and welcome to another episode of Star Trek Reliant. Tonight, I am Geraldine Blackwell, and I will be your host and DM, which means that everyone will be under my maniacal control. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, joining me tonight, running down the list, we have Bazag as Rick Tier, the chief engineer.
Welcome to the show. I am running everything behind the scenes.
This is true. While I might be the DM, if I make Rick mad, all of a sudden, everything will go quiet and you'll never hear from us again. Next up, we have the ship's first officer and doctor, Eli O'Connor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eli O'Connor. I can't speak tonight, but I'm controlling you the viewer, through your hearts and minds.
Impressive. Tonight, playing the captain as well as Cetsa Jagoro and quite possibly John T. Tardigrade, we have Duncan Idaho as Marcus Graves.
Good evening,
For some reason, I thought that was going to go longer.
I was considering whether or not to call for Nail in that voice, but...
Tonight, playing Chaplain Victor Waitley, and possibly also starring guest appearances by Grimnir and Ensign Mary Shepard, we have Grumpy Old Nord.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the Madhouse. Please, seriously, where's the door? I've been trying to get out of here for months.
Yes, Star Trek Reliant. 2,000 doors in, no way out. With us as well, we have our man out of time, fusion physicist, and antimatter expert, Daniel Wells.
Hi, I am science. All of it. I just am.
Potentially incredibly useful. With us as our resident combat monkey, as well as engineering monkey, because let's face it, explosions can solve both problems, we have Chorog.
Evening, all. Welcome to the asylum. Straitjackets are in the house. And ask for George. He's very gentle.
I'm glad to know this. At least now we know where to go. And as the credits roll, the music swells, and the episode comes to a start, we find ourselves in Captain Graves' ready room.
Captain Graves is sitting in bed, reading what looks like an antiquated novel. Turns a page, turns another page, sighs and sets it down, takes out a data pad, scrolling through the week's news, doom scrolling, having its allure.
There's a chirp on the captain's desk because there's a communication coming in from New Saul.
Graves raises an eyebrow and accepts the communication.
Captain Graves, is it?
Yes, this is Captain Graves.
I am Thalen Zah, and I am the administrator for the facility that the Mirror Universe version of Rick Tier is currently presiding in. I thought it would be due for some updates to your cruise counterpart.
All right, Graves says, internally wondering if this is going to be an account of how many people Mirror Rick has bitten.
There were some rather initial problems with settling Mirror Rick Tier into general population.
Naturally.
There were a number of, let's say, violent fracas within the prison population that stemmed from his introduction into the main population.
All right. How large is this population?
Generally, about 100 in our facility. It's not particularly big, but in terms of facilities of our size, but we are more cater to some of the more violent and aggressive individuals. Essentially, they're like the Supermax kind of, worst of the worst. As such, and with consultation with psychologists that Miroric has actually reluctantly attended via, obviously, remote communication calls, that we have decided that it would be best for semi-permanent isolation. We have, in conjunction with the government, located a smallish island that we can house him on. We have, obviously, transport inhibitors preventing him from escaping. We monitor the skies, we monitor the sea around, and it is our belief that that since the society that it came from was quite the aggressive society, that we needed to remove him in such a way that allows him to separate and not be on such a survival footing all the time. Hopefully, hopefully we can provide him with a calming situation, and hopefully in time he will understand more about himself, firstly, but also be able to get his, well, let's say build up some trust and realign his perspectives on what we can do.
I see. All right, well, it's good to know that at least there's some development despite the difficulties. Definitely want to say be careful if you're giving him too much isolation time that he's not using it for, let's just say, escape purposes, but otherwise, if you have that in hand, then I guess it's going as well as can be expected.
Yes, we have, well, there is always with prisoners of such a high degree of violence and aptitude, especially in engineering, there's going to be some problems, but we are monitoring the situation as best as we can.
All right. Let's just see then. Is there anything else we should know that I can pass on to Rick, or our version of Rick to you?
For now, that just pass him on that he is just say that he is trying to figure out his duty to himself right now. Do you have any questions, Captain?
Duncan, you're muted.
Ah, dang it. Not at this time, but I'll certainly let you know or send a message if there's anything we should or that's pertinent to look into.
All right. If you have any queries, then you can use the code to contact me. That if you, for some reason, do need to contact the prisoner, it would be best to go through me as well, as we arrange limited comms traffic to the area where he is.
All right. Thanks for letting us know.
All right. Farewell, Captain. We'll hopefully not contact too much.
All right. Take care. Graves out.
And with that, the call ends.
Graves returns to his data pad, picking up the doom scrolling, and moving over to a small little video display to turn on some just general chill background scenes of nature.
And with that, the camera changes position, and it's now down in the science labs, where Cetsa Jigoro currently looks over a rather ostentatiously dressed android known only as BD-20, picked up from the bazaar.
I mean, the robes are nice, but at the same time, you've also got like this underlayer. It looks like a little bit of a combat weave, but kind of tattered. Sure, you want to keep on that? It's probably constraining your movement.
Oh, but it's great fashion. At least I think so. It goes well with the hat and cape, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you tend to stand out on top of being, well, quite obviously an android. But if it's your look, I mean, it's your look. As far as this diagnostic goes, everything looks okay. I'm, pulling triple duty here, but at the same time, I have a little bit of experience in this area.
BD sits up and says, "Well, I do find your bedside manner most conductive. At least you're not trying to take me apart like the last 17 people did."
Yeah, I think, not disassembling the patient is a good start in building a physician patient rapport. Certainly from experience.
And it is about this time that the lights in the room suddenly go out, and the computer screens start displaying a warning as sparks fly from a couple panels. Something is attempting to hack into the Reliance computer.
Not again.
BD looks around. Again? This happens a lot?
I mean, some kind of big technical malfunction, or at least big ship-wide thing. Another day in Starfleet where, if you were, not meeting our, meeting combatants in thrilling combat, it's just one ship disaster after another.
So I take it this is an inconvenience.
Yes, this is an inconvenience. Could you point your ocular unit over here by this control panel so I can get a little bit of light?
No worries. I can handle this myself. And at that point, BD stands up, walks over, and places a hand on the control panel. And now the dice will tell us what happens.
Mystic dice.
After a few moments, the power flickers back on, firewalls go up on the computer, and everything returns to normal. BD simply looks over. There we go. I fixed it.
What exactly was the problem? Was it a false alarm, or was someone actually trying to infiltrate the system?
There's an attempted infiltration through the subspace network. Apparently a rogue communication attempting to seize control of the ship.
It figures. I'll go alert Graves. She just has she just trods over to the communications panel, considering for a moment using her remote implant to try to access the systems, but decides not to put her brain in contact with the starship at this time.
BD just kind of looks around, seeing as though he's no longer involved, and just says, "Well, I'll simply stay here, shall I?"
Yeah, I'll be right back. Just typing out a message here. Attempted subspace subterfuge on the ship. Probably already know. BD took care of it. All's good. And she just adds a little emoji at the end of the message and sends it off to Graves.
Soon after that message, Graves get another message from engineering, bit confused, stating the same sort of thing, but with an unknown. They don't know how it was resolved and are looking into the problem just in case there is another undetected infiltration.
Graves relays the information from Cetsa over to Rick, and then lays back and puts the book he was reading earlier on his face.
When Cetsa turns around from the panel, there's an elderly Ibby woman sitting on the bed where BD was a few moments ago, holding a cup of tea. Without reacting to Cetsa, she simply takes a drink from the cup of tea.
BD, are we alone anymore?
As she says that, the woman simply looks up from the cup of tea and stares directly into Cetsa's eyes and simply says, "He's calling you." And then when Cetsa blinks, she's gone. At which point BD looks around some more. I did not register any other life forms, ma'am.
Figure that. Maybe it's just implants are on the fritz again. She contemplates for a moment heading over to Medical Bay to try to get herself taken care of. Or counseling, or and then just the list goes on, or. And she just kind of flops down, flops her upper body down on the workbench that BD is on.
Oh, taking a nap, are we? I shall simulate some soothing ocean noises. He then proceeds to do so.
Cetsa imitates a foghorn.
Meanwhile, we'll cut down to Rick in main engineering, as Rick attempts to check and see if there's been any other infiltration attempts.
Yes, so Rick will just sort of look at, knowing this one's been resolved from the data, he will just sort of go through and see how was this attempt made, and if there's been ever any kind of probing to the ship's ports or whatever. IT jargon is appropriate.
Go ahead and give me a reason engineering roll.
There we go, 2 successes.
Alright, since this was an actual player success, I'll count this as building up a momentum for you guys, so if someone can keep track of that. And in this case, Rick is able to learn a great deal from the computer. First off, anybody trying to attack the computer now is going to have to deal with the intrusion countermeasures that BD-20 has apparently set up within the system, which are extremely strong and have a massive algorithmic channel which is changing every 3 picoseconds. But that doesn't seem to be hindering the ship. In fact, if anything, that's entirely helpful. However, going through the records, it looks as though the attempt was made very specifically. It was almost entirely using Reliant's command codes, and it came from a very specific spot in space, tunneled through the subspace network. Someone wasn't just trying to hack any ship out there. Someone specifically targeted the Reliant.
Well, Rick T sort of ponders that for a moment, puts up a report, and sends the captain a report. One about the attempt of the hacking attempt and what he's been able to find about where it's came from, and another about the intrusion defensive measures that have been put into place by BD. And so in the first one, he recommends that the command codes for the Reliant be refreshed.
It would also seem that you have one other piece of information the computer spits out, a suspected origin point for the transmission.
Yeah, that is included in the initial report. That this is what happened, this is where it came from, and this is initial sort of like stopgap to the refreshing command code is a temporary measure before the confrontation of whoever's doing this with whatever information they shouldn't have. So Captain Graves gets 2 beeps with all that information.
Graves rolls over, pushes himself up from the bed, hops up, throws on a uniform jacket, and says, "All right, I see this on the bridge. Judging from where this is probably going, let's see. He's probably got this well in hand. Filtration attempt, though, on Reliant." He's sort of like thinking through the various different players that could be involved and says, "All right, Graves to Lieutenant Tardigrade."
It should be noted, the location of the transmission was somewhere from within IBI assembly space.
Oh, okay, so that's definitely going to put Graves on the alert of like, okay, I think I know who's doing this. So he says, "All right, John to Lieutenant Tardigrade." John, meanwhile, is on the holodeck building a sandcastle with all the other baby tardigrades. is growing quite large, as in it is more or less becoming a defensible citadel for something the scale of a tardigrade. So Skipper's running along the battlements where the turrets are currently being assembled by Smarty Tardigrade and Party. John taps his comm badge, and he's got the little yellow swim trunks on right now, and says, John here. All right, John, need you to keep an eye on Cetsa. John says, okay, is this like a, friend thing? Like, is she feeling down? Or, and Graves says, it's a mission thing. Make sure she stays on board Reliant. And then, and then John just nods and says, okie dokie, and he runs off. And, it waves to the other baby tardigrades and, basically proceeds to get ready for security duty. And Kara, if you want to take John from here, go for it.
John proceeds to surprise a couple people in the hallway as he runs by in swim trunks. Doop, 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 doop. And then the camera cuts back to Captain Graves.
Graves is heading up to the bridge and kind of taps his comm badge and says, Graves to Eli O'Connor.
O'Connor here.
O'Connor, I'm not quite familiar with the protocols in this respect, but we may have just had an infiltration attempt from IBI space onto USS Reliant. And I am somewhat concerned someone is trying to compromise Cetsa.
From the background is Kara's voice. Is that why the lights went off?
Yeah, that's why the lights went off.
How did you say they did this?
Subspace hacking attempt. Rick's got the details.
Okay, but I mean, like, how? Like, did they...
I think they just basically tried to hijack some regular communications and send a viral data packet in.
They also had access to the Reliance command codes.
See, that's the information I was trying to get. I just didn't want to, like, instantly know it.
Yeah, so Graves relays that and says, they may have already tried to hack our command codes.
Well, I feel like Starfleet Command has to get involved then.
Yeah, Starfleet Command has to get involved then. I'm just basically saying we might want to have it take a look at Cetsa and make sure her implants aren't being affected.
I can do that.
All right.
I'm on the bridge right now.
Oh, I'm heading up the bridge, so want to tag out?
Yep, the bridge is yours, Captain.
Alrighty, and Graves sort of, like, he's been waiting in the turbo lift and the doors just open onto the bridge.
Eli immediately gets up and hits the turbo lift. They just meet in the middle, not give each other a nod.
Yeah, nod, and Graves takes a seat.
Kara does a double take at Graves. You look like shit, sir.
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping great.
Before the door closes, Eli shouts, "He's been doom scrolling again." Then it just closes.
I mean, a little bit, but I think it's just the implants. I might need to actually do some regeneration.
Well, if that's the case, I guess maybe you should go talk to Dr. O'Connor as well.
Right now, I'm on the bridge.
Cut now to the camera following Dr. Eli O'Connor to the Medbay, his personal kingdom.
But does it have battlements?
Not yet.
It does have hidden booze supplies, though, in case of siege.
Last time I built battlements, Ged got mad I was using all the pillows. But John was happy.
Speaking of Ged, as you enter the Medbay, Ged is there. He looks over, and then promptly goes back to what he's doing without a word.
All right. Eli taps his comm badge. Cetsa!
Yeah.
Gonna need you to come down here. I've been told to take a look at you.
All right. That's probably good. She gives a nod to BD and says, "I'm gonna go get a physical for myself. If anything else happens, feel free to touch the control panels."
Okay, who are you talking to there?
We got BD, the androids up here.
The pirate android?
Retired.
He's been good. He fixed the ship.
I mean, well, that may be. Somebody should watch him. I'm sending Chorog his way.
I could just follow Miss Jigoro.
Okay, fine. You can come down here.
Oh, do we still want to invite Chorog over to Medbay? I mean, make it a party?
You know what? Fine.
And then BD just in the background, "Party in the Medbay!"
Eli sighs and looks over to Ged and just shrugs.
Ged goes
John-
over to the replicator and starts replicating bottles of alcohol.
Okay,
John-
we're doing this.
John at this point walks in with his swim trunks.
John, what are you doing here?
I was, well, Cetsa's coming here, right?
Yes, soon.
Yeah, so I am supposed to keep an eye on Cetsa, captain's orders.
All right, good.
So John just walks over, hops up on one of the bio beds, and takes one of the silvery mylar blankets and just crawls under it and hides very ineffectively.
Eli taps his comm badge. O'Connor to Chorog.
Turok here. What's going on?
Apparently party in the Medbay, I guess, but we also need you to watch the retired pirate robot.
I'm on my way. I'm bringing venom.
Grand.
Turok tucks away his Makabara mat and grabs a rather large bottle of venom as well as his disruptor pistol and heads to the med bay.
At this point, John also pops his head out from under the blanket. Wait a minute, we having party?
I guess, you know what, sure. This is Ged's show most of the time. I might be in charge here, but he's, here all the time.
John reaches back under the blanket and puts on a party hat, and then crawls back under the blanket to hide again. It is now even more inefficient. At about this time, there's also a beep from the door.
Cetsa arrives in Medbay.
BD-20 trails behind her in his flowing cape and grand hat.
May I present the lovely BD-20, Grand Minister of Following Meets Medbay at this time.
Technically, BD-20 is only my designation, not my name.
Name
What
and
is your
designation, same thing. But yeah, what is your chosen name?
Well, that would be like me saying that your designation is half trill,
I mean, technically correct.
which is the best kind of correct. Anyway, name. Been a while since I gave it any thought. Give me a few minutes.
If
I
you don't think
know.
of something, I'm going to call you Fred.
Fred is a lovely name.
Oh dear, what have I done?
Well, it works. So Eli, you had a bit of a hacking attempt,
I'm told.
and I also happened to see an Ibby lady in Medbay, old lady.
That's not good.
No,
And I'm also told they were using the command code, so they'd use just Graves, or do they have mine?
oh, I don't know about that. It's just saw.
This is just something I'm pondering. I should probably ask Rick here.
Yeah, I mean, assuming it's
Or
not
read the report, it might be in the report.
assuming it's not stress or just my implants acting up. Could just be under the situation. I just imagine things, but old lady said something like, "Oh, he's coming," something like that.
Thinking back, Cetsa recalls that she simply said, he's calling.
Oh, calling. Okay. Oh, he's calling. So, maybe that's a clue or something completely different. I don't know. She just flops on. She flops onto the bio bed, not noticing John, and just squishes him.
He's... How did you not see him?
There's a muffled oomph. But to be honest, he's a tardigrade with an exoskeleton, so she squishes him a lot less than she gets squished back.
Cetsa goes oomph and then rolls off the bio bed.
Thump. BD-20 just kind of looks down. I think you're in the right place.
Yeah, so do the scan thingy and just see how bad my brain's messed up.
It's going to be a bit more than a scan. Well, we're obviously going to be a scan first, but I might need to try to plug into your stuff.
All right.
This is very serious, especially when they're using command codes, because that could mean the entire fleet is compromised.
Yeah, just make sure, they don't hack into my brain while I'm connected to the ship. I've been trying to be careful of that.
Well, you're not going to be connected to the ship when I do this. You're going to be connected to my tricorder, which is isolated from the ship. So if they try to get into my tricorder, I'm going to set it on fire.
Okay, I like this plan.
Meanwhile, John just starts saying tricorder's connected to the brain implant.
That's the time that Chorog finally shows up.
Chorog, welcome!
That's
Where's
his on
the
the
venom
floor.
and where's the robot I gotta babysit?
As he
His name is
walks,
Fred now.
as he walks in, Ged gives him a glass of vodka, a party hat, and points at BD-20.
And Eli's starting with tricorder scan first before he plugs into any implants.
Give me a control medical.
Okay, I need to open up my sheet because I actually forgot. Fuck.
Do we have to call him Fred? Why don't we call him Marvin?
Alright, here we are. So control medicine.
Yep, control medicine. And BD looks up. Actually, I do believe I have remembered my name. I was given the name Apathy.
Marvin it is.
I liked Fred better.
Well, what about Fred Apathy?
Frapathy.
From Tapatharvin.
Okay, so, obviously prosthetics and cybernetics should count for this, right?
Yes.
It reminds me of that robot I was
Beautiful.
reading about in a book I found in the computer system. Weird book.
Okay, so first off, we generate another momentum because you got a very high success. You take a quick scan of Cetsa. All the implants seem to be functioning fine. She's completely separated from the network. She doesn't have a subspace implant. Nothing is coming in. You also now have all of her measurements displayed on the screen, as well as, let's say, the slightly X-ray picture.
Okay, when for the full scan.
You know things.
I mean, I'm a doctor. I know everybody's things.
For good or ill.
There's some knowledge you have to... There's some knowledge you just live with and never speak about.
Ged, meanwhile, has handed out a shot glass to a little tardigrade paw that has extended from under the blanket, and then withdrawn with the glass.
Wait, did you just give John venom?
No, it was vodka.
Okay, this'll be interesting.
Oh no.
Is there about to be a roll made?
I mean, yeah, John's gonna have to do a roll because he has never had alcohol before.
Oh, well, I hope he's of age, because Ged just gave it to him.
I mean, he's 100 and something years old, so...
Species age differently.
Yeah.
In any event, while that's going on, Dr. O'Connor, you are utterly and completely convinced that Cetsa has not been compromised.
I'm still gonna do my due diligence and get a second opinion. I'm going to plug directly into the mainframe. I mean, Cetsa.
There's a slurp from under the blanket, and then and then the shot glass comes flying out. Meanwhile, if you want to go ahead and scan Cetsa again, just give me the same roll again.
No, I'm plugging into her. I'm plugging into her implants.
Yeah, but it's still got to be control medicine, so...
I know, but it's not a scan. I'm physically plugging in is what I'm getting at.
Okay, well, go ahead and plug yourself into Cetsa if you really want to that bad, and tell us how it feels.
I'm plugging in the tricorder. God damn it. Fuck me. You know what? Hold on a second. We have a momentum. I'm immediately using that to reroll the 20. Oh, we have two moments. Well, I only need the one, probably.
Let's find out.
Spend threat?
No, not yet. With Eli, I could just wait for the dice to do my job for me.
Like I said, I only needed the one.
Art of the card.
You plug into Cetsa and you do the scan. You don't find anything new. It's almost exactly what you saw before, except now Cetsa has a cord sticking out of her neck.
Alright,
Meanwhile, Charles grabs the shot glass that John tossed, fills it with a little bit of venom, and says, "Here, John, try this. I think you might like this better."
John, don't know.
Too late. The shot glass disappears under the blanket.
Unsuccess for John.
There's a glug, and then the shot glass is passed back out. Spicy.
Alright, I have one last thing I'm going to try. It's a bit unorthodox, but I'm just being extra sure since scans are saying you're fine, all that. But what does your mind say?
At one point or another, Ged has passed a glass of vodka to BD20, who proceeds to drink it in the Fred Stryker or Ted Stryker, class of having a drinking problem.
He better burp up fire like Bender, or I'm going to be mad.
After a moment, with the vodka running down him, BD20 simply looks and says, "Right, I don't have a mouth."
Oof. But as I was saying, okay, mind, yes, I'm going to empath. I'm going to empath now.
Okay. Insight, medical, and this time you will not get your focuses.
I gotta fucking, goddamn it, Majil. I can't pronounce things. Majil. Yeah, she no respond.
What's your target? Let me see if I can get it.
Hold on, so I gotta do math. I'm bad at math. Okay, here we go. 1!
Okay, because I was so waiting for the complication on this one too, because that would have been hilarious. Because you basically asked the same question 3 different ways and almost got a complication on every one. You don't feel anything unusual from Cetsa. She's obviously stressed and worried about this, but you don't feel any outside influence whatsoever.
Alright, well, everything is coming back fine. Ged, have you any extra ideas?
Ged walks over, hands Cetsa a glass of vodka and a party hat.
Right,
That's
that's
takes the
probably...
party hat.
I mean, vodka too, it's doctor's orders. Ged's a doctor, mostly.
It's for the stress. It'll relax you.
And I'll take a
Alright.
tequila. You know I don't do vodkas on Tuesday.
Ged goes and gets Eli a drink as well. Ged just holds up a glass. To impromptu parties where we can drink on the job.
Here,
Got 2 complications on that drinking roll.
So that's just kind of blinks, and for a moment, Eli looks like an elderly Ibby woman in a nun outfit. And then she blinks, and it's Eli again.
Did anyone see Eli turn into a nun?
What?
Nothing.
Listen, I know I did some weird things on Halloween like 3 years ago, but we don't have to bring it up.
Meantime, Chorog's tricorder beeps. He looks at it like, someone's trying to hack us again.
Are they?
Actually, it's an error from Chorog's tricorder. No one's trying to hack them. There hasn't been a subspace transmission that's been accepted by the ship for the past, 30 minutes.
Well, that just didn't come out of thin air or something had to cause that. 'Cause I saw it too.
Wait, what?
Okay.
I think it was just Cetsa being drunk.
She did totally fail her alcohol roll.
Yeah, she got 2 20s. I'm surprised she's still standing.
She's not standing. She's sitting on the floor still. She never got up from before.
Oh yeah.
Then what was with the spooky nun?
There was no spooky. No, Ged, what are you giving these people to drink?
Ged looks around. It's just vodka! And BD20 simply says, interesting.
Okay, I'm just making sure you didn't accidentally give them Checkers ayahuasca if they're seeing things.
It appears that the medical phenomenon may be spreading.
See, this is why I'm going with tequila, he says as he sips tequila.
I mean, if it's spreading, like Chorg, he doesn't have brain implants, so is it Whately again?
Wait, what do you mean again?
I don't know. I mean, he's got the big brain stuffs.
But why would Whately do something like this? He's just the nicest man.
I mean, that is what people are supposed to think about him.
Technically,
slightly suspicious.
Technically, I do have implants. It's what my mask plugs into.
Eli was being sarcastic, by the way.
I mean, what if we could, make Torog's implants look like my implants? Maybe that's subterfuge. That's it says, quite drunk.
Trog removes his mask. You can see 2 small ports on either side of his temples.
Ged looks over. Huh, I never picked that up on the general overview. And then he looks over at Cetsa. Anyway, she's relaxed.
Alright, yeah. And Chora, couldn't you have just, gotten the same effect by just putting some magnets under your skin? Or does this, feed actual information into your brain or something?
I have an implant in my head. The mask feeds data into the implant, which allows me to scan rooms. I can get readings from my tricorder. It also helps with my aim.
In addition,
Okay, so it gives you a HUD.
In addition, I bet he can smell through the mask. Handy, that.
The mask has a light filter in it. It filters out some things, but not a lot.
I wish you had told me this sooner. You'd realize I'm literally a cyberneticist.
Trog hands his mask over to Eli. Eric, take a look.
I mean, I gotta focus on Cetsa right now, but definitely later. This is interesting stuff, he says, looking at the mask before handing it back.
I think I've survived so long being a pirate, I have these upgrades done.
I mean, you're not Starfleet, so if you want more...
At this point, BD20 is just standing stock still. He's starting to live up to his name. Apathy.
Anyway, what kind of a name is Apathy, anyway?
Searching records. Yes, I see here. Former organizations to which I was affiliated. Before I was a pirate lord on the... And the voice changes suddenly. Bazaar. I was a member of what is known as the Conclave.
What?
Conclave.
The Conclave.
Aren't those the people were that like the Romulan you like, or
He's still on board, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I have to make like 3 calls in rapid succession. Okay, more like 2, but 3.
Someone give me a
calling?
hello.
Well, who I'm calling? I'm going into another room. He says as he backs into another room.
No. I'm asking who we're calling as the DM.
Oh, okay. Eli goes into his office. First up, taps his comm badge. O'Connor to Graves.
Graves here.
I got some interesting news. You know that
Well-
pirate robot we have?
Yeah.
He used to be part of the Conclave.
That's the organization that Romulan's part of, right?
That's the organization the Romulan's part of, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a thing about robots.
Yeah, I'm about to call him next. Well, I'm going to invite him down here.
All right. Are you sure inviting him down there is a good idea?
It's the medical bay. What's the worst that could happen? He's going to inject some medicine and feel nice for a little while.
I mean, who do you have for security down there?
Chorog.
And
Chorog.
there should be one more if he's following my orders.
John's here.
All right.
He's
Good.
drunk, though.
What?
Damn
What?
Um,
John's drunk.
I think so.
It's not like on like apple juice. It's
No,
Fine.
Chora gave him venom.
Spicy.
venom.
It's venom.
All right. If you notice reality start changing, definitely try to calm him down with something. Chocolate milk is usually pretty good at that. So just make sure you got chocolate milk on hand.
Will a milkshake do?
Probably.
Alright, good. Alright, I'm
Alright.
about to call the Romulan. Bye!
Wait, okay.
Oh, wait, did you have something else?
No. How's Cetsa doing?
She's also drunk. It was doctor's orders. Get specifically, not mine.
All right. So, anything to report about her implants?
They seem to be fine right now, but she said she saw a nun. I'm not sure if that's the alcohol or some kind of hallucinations.
Did she mention what kind of nun?
I don't know, but she also mentioned an ibby old woman.
All right, that's probably the Igven.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw them when we were there. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So let's figure that the Igven are trying to pull something on us right now. So double up security, and I mean, with your conclave friends down there, do ask about the Igven.
All right, adding that to the list.
All right, so yeah, maybe call Oakley down there as well, just to have a little bit more engineering support in case you need it.
Oakley's not on tonight.
I know.
All right, well, Oakley's coming on down.
He goes,
All
"Beep,
right.
boop."
Beep boop indeed.
Oakley flies into the med bay. He is given a small shot glass of vodka and a party hat.
Cleaning solvent.
All right, anything else? Like, at all?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, if you
Well, not
want to, you
good,
could send
but-
Kara down here for emotional support, too.
I mean, if Cetsa's drunk, probably, but also, I mean, if someone needs to handle some cyborgs, definitely might need a little bit of assistance. But Kara, do you want to go down and see a drunk Jibby down there?
Kara blinks and looks back at the captain and says, "Wait, what's going on now?"
Apparently, Cetsa's gone for a medical checkup. She's apparently drunk, might need a little bit of emotional support.
And tell her she might get to fight, bad guys if they come on.
Yeah, we also might have some trouble with the Igven brewing.
Kara stands up and just walks to the turbo lift, muttering, "This goddamn ship, I tell you what." And a few
Graves
minutes
is
later,
like-
she arrives down in Medbay and also gets a glass of vodka and a party hat from Ged.
All right, now I'm calling the Romulan for real this time. Bye, Captain.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Eli taps his comm badge, then taps it again. Eli to what was his name? It's been so long, and I'm slightly.
Oh,
throwing
it's
myself.
Zasius.
Zace. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't pronounce it like full on Zacchaeus.
It would be fine.
Eli taps his comm badge. O'Connor to Zacius. Zacius? Zeusius.
Zasius.
Zacius.
What's this one?
I figured that was you, but I could do it if you want me to.
No, I think it's
I
just
can
funny
do
if Duncan does it in the same tone he did Graves, so it's just confusing and out of context. Anyone skips ahead.
No, I want to do a slightly different accent for it.
Fair.
I mean, if they're skipping ahead randomly through the episode, they're going to be confused no matter what.
I mean,
Fair.
if we do, like, it basically might be something you want to do when, enjoying certain medicinals. I mean, just to get fully confused about what's happening. But anyway, Zacius answers like, Zacius, Avoca?
Hey, it's the ship's doctor and first officer. Can you come down to the medical bay?
I am slightly indisposed by this brig cell you still have me in.
What? We didn't put you in a brig cell. We put you in quarters, just under, house arrest. What?
Well, apparently your ever so kind chief of security has seen fit to put me back in the brig. Something about tampering with sensitive Starfleet equipment, but I don't see what's so troublesome about trying to build an android out of a blender.
What was the android's purpose?
Does it need a purpose?
I mean, you just making life for the hell of it?
Yeah, tinkering, keeping busy.
I mean, were you putting weapons on it is the big question.
Strictly speaking, no, but the tongs could probably cause a nasty pinch.
That's not a weapon. It's
All
Listen,
right.
I'll talk to him about that. But just hold the combat up to the cell door if he's there.
Zacius does that and just calls, Mr. Robot Man.
His name is
Another one?
Bryce.
Bryce.
Bryce walks down the hall. Yes?
Hi, it's Eli here on the comm badge. Why does he have a comm badge if he's in the brig? Anyway, let him out of the brig. He needs to come to medical bay.
That was an awful lot, but you're the first officer, sir. Disengaging force field.
Zacius stands up and just adjusts his long black jacket.
And in the future, just let him make his little robot unless he's literally putting a death laser on it. Laser pointer is fine, though.
Bryce takes a deep breath and sighs again and says, Yes, sir.
Zacius saunters over to sickbay.
As he walks in, he has passed a glass of vodka and a party hat. It is now quite crowded in sickbay.
Zacius tries to pour the drink into the party hat and then drink it from the party hat.
That's not...
This works for the first couple seconds, and then the party hat starts to degrade.
I see a problem with this.
It goes on your head.
Yeah, it should be noted that everybody else in the room has the party hat on their head.
Except for Eli.
Zacius
But
says,
I just want to say, before Zacius gets there, Eli takes out a pad, puts in his notes. He's got just a section on his pad that's Delta agent stuff. Ikaven Iconians ? And okay, there. Since we've done literally nothing else with that.
Oh yeah. You can basically just. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can work in some slight Iconian stuff into this. So.
No, I'm just having it as a funny gag of just trying to find some kind of connection to it.
I mean, you
the
can
DM
try
is
for it.
listening, and the DM always takes interesting ideas and makes the players regret it.
So, hey, thanks for coming down. You see our robot friend here?
Yes.
Apathy waves.
The one with the fancy hat.
His
The
name is
fancy
Apathy, apparently.
Indeed.
He said he used to belong to your conclave.
My conclave?
That's what he said.
You sure my conclave?
I mean,
he looks at Apathy with narrowed eyes.
Are you sure? How many conclaves are there? I'm pretty sure it's not, the one that basically, aided and abetted a genocide, but...
No. They're rather, shall we say, assholes.
Oh yeah, no, they're complete assholes.
Yes. I suspect I know who manufactured your robot friend here. I mean, it certainly was a long time ago.
That is not the only reason you're down here.
Indeed. He slowly looks over to the medical display pad, which medical display, like the full wall, like with the results of the biobed, and Cetsa's information is still displayed on there.
Not all of it, mind you.
Looks back and says, "And what do you need?"
Okay, well, first off, somebody's trying to hack the ship using our own command codes.
It's unfortunate.
It is. Have you ever heard of the Ikvin before?
Possibly.
I'm gonna need a straight answer here. I'm letting you get your robots built, have your little fun.
Yes, the Ikven are another, shall we say, pretender to the Conclave. They only have some aligned interests, but also some quite strong deviants as well.
Deviancy. Now there's a fun topic. Shall I regale you with tales about... Ged reaches over and puts a hand over the area where Apathy's voice comes out, and it just starts to be muffled.
Cetsa looks up and says, "He's just getting the good stuff."
Anyway, what would they want with her?
Well, just thinking back to past events, Cetsa...
Not
what?
you!
I was being the DM here,
Oh, I'm sorry.
reminding you of past events.
I thought you were literally just going on another robot tirade. I'm sorry.
No. Remembering from past events, well, Cetsa is a product of the Ikven. In addition to her normal organic brain, she also has a positronic matrix. She was attempted to have downloaded into her one of the old Ibi pantheon, the mechanical gods, by the Ikven.
Okay,
All this
so
happened during a diplomatic visit, if you recall.
Oh, I recall. I blasted you with some rockets out of my shoulder.
You also kicked the door open with your shoe.
I kicked a door open with my shoe. I made a really badass speech. Of course I remember. I was,
There was
great.
a sheep.
There was indeed a sheep or two.
No,
Grimnir was happy about that.
You for the sheep. Do presence insight rolls.
I mean, shoes with knives in them make excellent lock picks, Grumpy.
So Zacius looks over and sees Cetsa kind of sprawled on the floor and says, "So, what exactly is this Ibi to the Ikven?"
She's a pet project of theirs in a way. She's got a positronic matrix. They tried to download a god into her. She was assimilated by the Borg at one point.
Like he just starts blinking and just like, wait, what? That's like you see him just start to crack a little bit with like, holy crap, that's a terrible idea. What the hell are they? And he just looks at them and is like, did they?
Yeah, it was. I shot a dude with some rockets.
I think that's an appropriate response to the situation.
Yes. If you ever are on Cardassia or Deep Space Nine, definitely go to Garrick's. Tell him Eli sent you.
All right, certainly will. So the Ikven, if she's that kind of project to them, then they'll certainly be trying to recover her.
Kara looks over. Yeah, except most of the Ikven collaborators were all put in jail after that.
The Ikven, probably similar to the to other conclaves they ape, probably operate on cells. You probably didn't get them all.
Well, great.
Yeah.
So, this seems kind of like your thing. Are you going to be assisting us?
If they're trying to make a robot god that the Borg have already tried to assimilate, and
we disassimilated her. I personally saw to that.
Kara also holds up a hand. Also, I think that was unrelated.
Okay.
That was unrelated, but still kind of an important detail.
But she's got Borg implants and Ikven implants with one of their Pantheon members.
Almost. We stopped the download, I'm pretty sure.
At this point, the door to the medbay dings. And in walks Daniel.
Daniel walks in, kind of holding his hand, and he looks up and just kind of looks around silently for a second and asks, am I interrupting something?
And just before we cut to commercial, Gad walks over, hands him a glass of vodka and a party hat. And let's go ahead and have a nice little break, since it seems like people need one, and I am totally fine with this. had just walked into a strange sight, been given a glass of vodka and a party hat. Welcome to the party. I don't know what we're celebrating, but there's booze.
So I burned my hand.
Oh yeah, we'll wave a light over it.
You know, that's a gross oversimplification, Doctor. And
I know, but everyone's drinking, so, I don't want to have to explain that we're going to get the dermal regenerator out and just slowly move it over so they can regenerate the skin.
I just got here.
Cetsa calls over. Are you gonna make the woo woo noises when you do that? Like,
no, that makes that I don't go woo woo. The machine goes woo woo. That's not me.
That just kind of gently guides Daniel over to a different med bay where, John is not hiding under a blanket very ineffectively. He sits him down and says, ignore them. They can't hold their liquor.
Eli walks over with the dermal regenerator. Yeah, burns are literally one of the easiest things to fix.
Hey, make sure that thing's turned on or else it's going to look like you're trying to shave his hand.
I'm a doc. I'm not even drunk. I can turn it on. He says, turning it on. And he's waving the light over his hand.
Woo woo woo.
Go ahead and give me a control medical roll. And I'm going to spend threat, so your range now for complication is 16.
My target is 16, though.
Okay, well, your range for threat then is 17.
A lot of people crowded in this room who have loss of coordination right now.
Yeah, that's basically Cetsa right now.
I resemble that.
Doesn't matter.
4 successes.
All right, that's extra 3 momentum to the group. And yeah, Daniel, you're fine. Your hand is totally back to normal. That took about 2 seconds. You feel fine.
It's probably better than it's been for years.
Yeah, you just
your arthritis is gone.
Arthritis.
Turns out you had cancer in that hand. It's gone now.
It's smelling lemony fresh as well.
Also took care of your carpal tunnel.
Thanks, Daniel says, just kind of opening and closing his hand a bit.
If you got any more successes on that one, if that was even physically possible.
It's not possible. That's literally the max successes with 2 dice.
For 2 days, but if you spent more dice, if you got, say 3 crits on that one, it'd be funny if his, one hand was normal, then the other hand looked like it was from a teenager.
I mean, that could just happen now. Got rid of some of the wrinkles. Some of the old spots.
He just kind of looks around. I think it's getting a bit crowded in here. Should I leave?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I mean, there's the Jeffries tubes.
You say that, and smoke starts coming out of the Jeffries tube.
Don't go to Jeffries tubes. You'll upset the bees.
Out of the smoking Jeffries tube comes Checkers and Checkers, both wearing aprons and pizza chef hats.
Did you guys burn the pizza again?
What do you mean again? This is the first pizza we burned.
It's not burn, it's Cajun style.
That's what I was trying to say, the other Checker says.
Besides, I love a nice crispy crust.
Well, now that
of course you do. Here's a cigar to go with it, he says, holding out a cigar to Chorog.
It's like you know me. As Chorog begins to hungrily chomp down on the cigar.
Well, now that my hand's okay, you guys want me to come help you with that?
Oh, sure, if you want. We got more ayahuasca.
No thanks.
Cactus juice, come on.
Oh, yes, please. You have to try the ayahuasca.
I have. It was. I probably.
The cactus juice is the quenchiest.
You guys remember how many things I broke the last time I had?
I know, it was great. You gotta do it again.
Okay. Kara says, standing up and just gently pulling Cetsa up. You guys keep talking about whatever. I'm gonna go put the princess to bed.
That's not a good idea.
Why not?
Because things could happen. This is Eli speaking, by the way. Things could happen. There's the Ikven. We're trying to figure that out. Just them talking about all this doesn't matter. She is in possibly danger.
Zacius nods at that point and says, considerable danger.
I see. And is the medbay any more particularly shielded or secure than her quarters?
Yes, we have people here that, while drunk, are still probably good at fighting while drunk. Probably, he says, slowly turning his head over to Chorog.
Kara pinches the bridge of her nose. Yeah, and those people are what worries me. Look, it's really crowded in here. Can't we break this into some sort of smaller group?
We can just put her in, like, over there. There's literally, like, privacy part.
Fine. Kara takes Cetsa and moves her over to the area away from the others.
Cetsa, as Cetsa is led away, she looks to the screen. It's like, is that my scan data?
Chucks an empty bottle at one of the checkers. Hey, give me a fill up of that ayahuasca, will ya?
Checkers goes back into the smoking tube for ayahuasca.
Daniel follows, saying no along the way.
Oh, you're going into the tubes.
Yeah, Daniel offered to help with pizza.
Then why is he saying no? It's ayahuasca time.
He's saying no to the ayahuasca.
If you say no to the ayahuasca, the bees will get upset.
It's
At this
fine.
point-
They're sleeping. There's smoke in the tunnel, in the tubes.
Fuck, you got me there.
Beatty just kind of looks around the room and says, I'm starting to believe there's a 57% chance that I may be the most capable person in this room.
I mean, I'm not drunk, Eli says.
Beatty looks at him, and I don't think that was relevant.
Alright, well, I think this robot needs to go to the scrapyard.
Yes, a field trip would be quite lovely.
No, more like daycare. You're going to daycare.
Ooh,
The
will there be
tardigrade.
clowns?
Possibly.
Yay, artistic endeavors.
I hate and go color with the baby tardigrades. Trog says, somewhat drunk and stupid.
John, take him to Detroit.
John crawls out from under the blanket where he had been ineffectively hiding, still wearing his yellow swim trunks. Goes up to Apathy, touches him on the leg, and there's a blue flash, and they're both gone.
Wait, no!
Why'd you have him take him to Detroit? He goes to Detroit, they're just gonna break him down for spare parts.
Yes.
Zacia says, Conclave Android could be useful.
Alright, hold on a second. John, bring him back.
Can he hear you?
There's a couple minutes, or a couple seconds of silence, and then there's a blue flash as Apathy and John come back, and now BD is also wearing yellow swim trunks. I had just arrived at the sandcastle.
We needed you back. We realized we might actually need you.
Yes,
Not because you're competent, just because you're useful.
Aren't those the same thing?
No. You could be useful just by, being a warm body, but competence, that's something you need to be taught.
Can the Conclave operative speak? He did bring me down here.
You do seem perfectly capable of enunciating.
Very well. So, you should probably come up with a plan to, let's just say, thwart the next attempt possibly to snag her. I would worry about, well, possibly ships they may have absconded with. If they've tried to control the Reliant, then, say, a Klingon bird of prey would be an easier target for them to steal, have it cloaked, and try to transport your darling princess away.
I mean, she's in the private room and it's kind of shielded, so...
Yeah.
We literally got that set up shielded so they can't get that out. That's when we were doing the Borg.
Yes, I'm just saying you may want to be on alert for proximity attempts around your vessel. Otherwise, they may try a long-distance transport through the network, which would be risky, but in desperation, they may attempt something like that. So...
I'm going to make a recommendation to Captain Graves.
Indeed.
He taps his comm badge. Captain.
Graves here.
I have a suggestion for the time being.
Yep, shoot.
We are a target out here, and I'm told the Ekven might get very desperate, so I think until further notice we should return to Starbase Magellan, have everyone on high alert.
Yep, agreed. We'll just put ourselves on yellow, or we're already on yellow alert right now, so we'll keep it that, keep everything ready, and yeah, let's just be over at Starbase Magellan in case their systems may need to assist ours.
They might try to go for a Klingon bird of prey, possibly a Miranda class. Not like one of the old ones I still got out here, not like a Reliant.
Alright, we'll see. Anything... let me check with Rick Tier first.
Alright, because my biggest idea was we literally have the Reatheans there. They could probably just, sense anyone getting on trying with ill intent.
Yeah, well, we do have Jessara and Neen on board the ship.
True, we do have them, but I thought, like, bigger net, easier to catch, but...
All right. Well, also Whately.
I mean, are you sure about that?
No. So, but yeah, let me go put in a call with Rick Tier first.
I mean, let's just make it a group call.
All right, Rick Tier.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah, have we made any progress in tracing the exact route that the ICVEN used to try to compromise Reliant? Any star bases, for example?
Actually, you
that
have
they
the
routed through?
you have the exact route. The destination is a solar system within ICVEN space that has not generally been known to be colonized. The system has not been bounced across different star bases. It was a direct transmission directly from the planet to the ship in a straight line.
All right, let me try something else. Thank you, Eli. We could turtle up at Starbase Magellan, but I'm thinking something slightly more aggressive here.
You know what? Now that, we do have their exact location, I suggest maybe Starfleet Command get a few ships to back us up, contact the IBI Command, get a few ships from them to back us up, and, carry a big stick.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Captain, I'm just sort of curious as to what our plan is. We've got a location.
Well,
What's been
broadly
happening?
Well, broadly speaking, we've got a problem here. The ICVEN are probably making a play towards Cetsa, but at the same time, waiting is probably going to give them just some opportunity to try something, and eventually something's going to work to try to get her off Reliant. My thinking is, instead of turtling up, let's play a little bit more like Karat. Let's go on the offensive and try to resolve the situation on the ground there, and I'm going to go call in a favor right now.
Would you like me to call in a favor as well?
You go call in a favor on a separate call. I don't think it'd be appropriate for a group call in this context.
Oh, no, I was definitely going to go off on another call. I wasn't just going to do it here. Why would I do that?
All right, well, we'll reconvene shortly.
Right, well, the Reliant is ready to go.
So, Graves taps his comm badge. Kara, you can have this character. Graves heads to his ready room, sets up a encrypted communication to IFAR, the IBI administrative complex, and to Administrator Vela Jagoro.
There's a loading screen, and then Vela's face pops up on the monitor, and she looks at Marcus with a bit of surprise. Marcus, I wasn't expecting a call.
We've got a little bit of a situation. Have the ICVEN been causing any trouble lately?
Not that I'm aware of. Most of them are either street preachers at this point or in prison.
So there's a chance that the ICVEN are trying to capture Cetsa again, and we have the location of the planet that they have attempted to compromise her from. It is in IBI space.
After a moment, Velia just kind of looks at him and says, "That doesn't sound very likely to me."
Well, it may not
or
be
at
very...
least the capturing Cetsa part. I haven't seen your records. I can't doubt the transmission, but...
Well, contacting her, trying to... I don't know. Right now, I don't think the ICVEN would simply be making a cordial call to her, considering that she is with Borg technology and considerable
Marcus,
theoretical capabilities.
You remember how their last big play ended. Cetsa, it turns out, was not exactly a useful participant for their plans, even when they managed to get entirely to their goal.
I'm not convinced that they haven't worked out any solutions.
Well, they certainly wouldn't be able to try the same trick again. We've deorbited that satellite.
Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering, sending the exact planet that we've detected the conclave or the ICVEN transmission from. We have a couple of specialists on board that may be able to assist. I'm just wondering if the IOD wants to have, some ships in the area, maybe higher ships of the line.
Bella raises an eyebrow and simply says, "The planet you're looking at is, well, it's L class, so I guess it's livable, but it's not in any of the colonized spaces. There's not been any space traffic there for years, decades."
So, in other words, it's a pretty good candidate for a hidden base.
Only if they're not sending anything in or out of that base and haven't been for years.
Well, with Igven augmentations, they might be able to do a little bit better than a standard humanoid. So we're requesting permission to go have a look at the planet.
Oh, of course. I wasn't saying you were wrong. I was just saying that whatever it is, it doesn't look particularly active. I'll have a IOD squadron ready in the Piloth system. They should be able to join you with merely a minute's notice if you need them.
All right. And definitely be aware that the infiltration attempt on our ship also tried to use our command codes. So definitely put whatever security you have on high alert, especially for incoming transmissions.
See.
And override orders.
That is disturbing.
Yeah, that's where the whole, capturing Cetsa comes in. Because capture Reliant, kind of have that whole kit and caboodle.
Maybe. Have you considered the fact that maybe they just want the ship?
Why Reliant?
I don't know, but it occurs to me that if they wanted Cetsa, wouldn't they attack her directly?
Oh, as far as I understand it, she has reported some hallucinations.
Hallucination,
None.
you say?
Yeah, Ikven none.
An elderly Ikvin lady about yay tall. She continues to give a description which fits the old woman that you had seen before on Ifar, and also fits Setsa's recollections.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I remember that she was present, but by the time security officers arrived, we could find no trace of her before.
Yeah, so maybe at the very least she's got a chateau and a good set of good set of intel.
I see. Well, if there are Ikvins still operating out there, we need to take care of that. I trust you to do your damnedest, Marcus.
Yep, will do. I'll have my engineer double our efforts to get over there as soon as possible. We'll use the transwarp network from the Federation to pop over to the Zarantine sector without delay.
Good. And keep my other self quite safe, would you?
Yeah, right now, she's in good hands.
All right. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Not today. Thanks for the assistance, and hopefully we'll have this sorted out shortly.
Delia nods, and the communication link goes dead.
Graves says, all right. Graves to Eli. Are you done calling in your favor yet?
Called one of them in. I'm just literally calling my sister. Takao's coming.
Oh, awesome.
My aunt, all that, yeah. I was about to call in a second one. Do we want Cardassians or Ferengi? Like, one I could just bribe, the other is like...
Well, when we're talking about Cardassian, I would probably need a little bit more intel on that one in particular. Ferengi is pretty self-explanatory.
I mean, Cardassian... I'd literally just be asking Garrick if he could send someone out.
Alright, I mean, if the IBI are up for it, but I'd definitely relay that through the IOD, IBI Orbital Defense.
And Ferengi, literally just... We could hire a liquidator.
Alright, if you got the funds for it.
I mean, do I have the funds for it?
Well, I know you have ships, but I haven't been... okay, so if you're comfortable doing that, I think that's pretty good.
Listen, they might be trying to hurt Cetsa, and that doesn't drive with me.
No, and I definitely like to kick him as hard as I can for that.
Exactly, so should I call both in?
Go ahead and call both.
Probably just be one ship from each of them. But...
Okay, that's fine. We've got some ships from the IBI coming, and I'm going to call Starfleet, see if we can get some backup here.
So let's see,
especially if they're...
class, Reliant class, probably... I think they probably sent in a Gala, right?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll just keep Starfleet Command on alert if we've got a Crossfield class coming in here.
Well, yeah, that's the Taka. That's Brian.
Yeah, I'm basically saying if they're able to compromise our fleet, let's not give them too big of a fleet. Let's just say have ships on reserve, but not in the immediate scene. That's just for Starfleet. Everyone else you got bring in specialists. Oddballs, they won't see that coming.
I mean, with my sister on that ship, they're going to be safe. I don't think.
Oh yeah. Definitely, let's just not bring in a standard sovereign class Ikir class type setup.
Of course. Okay.
Okay, so I've got more calls to make. I also have to check in with Rick here.
Do I have to do the calls in character?
You do not. In fact,
Thank you.
honestly, we're coming close to the end tonight, so let's start to wrap up some of these calls.
Okay, so we've got Baz's theory, so let's go ahead and get to that. So Graves says, Graves to Rick Tier.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we've got a plan of attack. We're gonna go take a look for the Ikven. The question, though, is that there's an L-class planet that they could be hiding out on. We've got two priorities. One is detection, trying to find their location, try to initiate contact, maybe resolve this diplomatically. Second is defense. So do we have anything to offer on either of those?
Well, it does, to me, it does feel like a trap. It's a direct call. They're not even trying to hide their location in terms of filtering and laying it around. We've got ship phases. I can set up transport inhibitors. We can specifically shield certain areas of the ship if the shields were to go down. Try to isolate different sections of the ship to see if something were if another command code was to come in or something, someone somehow got onto the ship, that we could lock everything down, lock the bulkheads down at least.
All right, so that sounds good. So just enough to isolate us, but at the same time, let's try to make sure that we're not creating traps that can be backfiring on ourselves by basically giving easy ways of locking us out as well. It's hard to plan with these, with the Ikven. As far as detection goes, there's one hypothesis that I want to get rid of. You try to test relatively rapidly, which is whether or not that the planet we're heading to is an actual base or just a relay for the message. So basically, let's be able to try to detect whether or not there's a hidden base there, or if we're just dealing with a ComSat.
Well, I can get energy being funneled through to the sensors. So that would be up to science to get a good read of what's in the system and what's not.
As the DM, I will remind you, you have a complete picture of the signal the route took. The source was the planet, the destination was the Reliant. There were no stops.
Yep.
I mean, there does seem to be... There's no signs of any kind of relay or distribution other than this source, this planet is where the signal came from.
It's still a question, though, of basically is the signal came from here, but are we just dealing with a communications device on the planet or an established base? So it's basically just trying to maybe work through some tachyon detection techniques in case they've got any cloaked tech.
Yeah, well, there is the reason why they want us to come. All right, well, I'll get started going on developing what tachyon sensor sweeps. See if we can boost that. Working with Cetsa, and we'll get my team working on transport inhibitors and other isolating mechanisms, so that if something were to happen to the ship, to at least part of the ship, other systems won't be compromised as well.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna out of character here. Eli, if you want to join in on the call, you could just sort of go ahead.
All right, hello. Good news. Cardassians are sending a Tapata escort, and I hired a Ferengi with a Quark class. Isn't it weird to name a ship after someone that's still alive? That's bad luck, but
yeah. So basically, a variety of potential security systems,
and I have just thought of something as well. You ever in the academy read old logs from the Enterprise D and stuff like that?
No, not as such.
So wait, was I the only one that did that?
I've done a few of them.
Okay, so you might know what I'm talking about.
On the background, Ged yells, "Teacher's pet!"
Yes, I was. Shut up. Also, how'd you get in my office? Door's closed. Lieutenant Commander data was used to encrypt the computer of the Starship Enterprise. We have Bryce, who is a Soong type, or not Soong type, he's Maddox type technically, but that's close enough to Soong type. He's got the positronic brain. His brain might be able to come up with a great encryption.
Alright, yeah, let's go for that.
Let's just hope Bryce doesn't get compromised now.
Well, I mean, it's just every layer counts.
Alright, I'll start working with Bryce for that too.
So Graves says, "All right, if we're all good to go, let's proceed to the the destination point."
Moon takes the ship into warp, and a short while later, the ship arrives above a green L-class planet orbiting a very bright star and a system that is in Ibby space but is currently unclaimed.
And then the rest of the fleet shows up.
I was about to say, depending on how many people you called, it quickly turns into a space parking lot with a lot of comm traffic.
Crossfield class literally just pops in next to them.
John, like immediately like pops over to the Decau.
Moon just
Actually,
kind of
no. John doesn't.
what?
Okay, the Crossfield class, is it
The
Takao?
Takao.
Takao. Okay, the Takao is suddenly inundated by a swarm of baby tardigrades looking for all the spores.
Oh no.
So that's going on in that ship. But yeah, so the fleet has arrived, which is going to be funny if the Ekven Nun just like wanted to invite the Reliant over to like chat. We sent stuff.
X gonna give it to you. Starts playing over all frequencies.
I mean, at this point, I feel like I could just end the episode with just a muted trombone going.
Yeah, we're just like this battle fleet showing up. This old lady, it's like to this old lady's house.
You don't even know what it is. Nobody scanned the planet yet.
Listen, if the old lady
Okay,
didn't
we're gonna
want
scan the
an
planet.
entire
We're gonna
armada
plug
coming
into
to her
the
house,
episode.
she shouldn't have committed terrorism.
And don't forget, for emails, we've got Reliant at StarbaseUDC.com.
Well, no,
Send
we're
us
not done
one.
yet. We're not done yet.
Do you guys want to at least scan the planet before we end for the night?
No.
Oh, we're scanning the planet.
No.
I think it would be a good cliffhanger, just arriving at the planet.
Okay, well, we scanned the planet, and Cetsa got one complication.
There's 30 cloaked ships in there. They're all Borg battle tactical cubes.
Cetsa screams and falls backwards from the science station.
Are we on the bridge to see this, or are we all still getting drunk?
This has been a couple hours. Everybody should be on
Okay,
the
yeah,
bridge.
Eli's in the first officer's chair. It's comfy.
Graves looks over. Cetsa is just like, I think I may have messed up.
Why? What makes you say that?
Is it likely there'd be like 30 cloaked Borg battleships around here?
I don't think the Borg use cloak.
No.
If they did, that would be fucking
Calibrate the
horrifying.
sensors.
At this point, Kara gets up, walks over to Cetsa station, looks at it, presses a single button, goes back and sits down.
Cetsa looks at the display screen.
It just shows the system now. It looks like it's a fairly normal L-class planet covered in a jungle, slightly hazardous atmosphere that would require breath masks. There is one single weak power source coming from the entire area. Looks like some sort of overgrown facility. It's been abandoned for years, quite obviously.
Well, Cetsa says, all right, well, I found a facility, weak power signature, and it looks to be possibly in use.
Well, that beats 30 tactical cubes that are cloaked and getting ready to assimilate us now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
All right,
but-
well, best course of action I think to take is to load a photon torpedo.
No. Can we not do that? Maybe.
That's just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion. It's not an order.
Graves says, yeah, let's send an away team down there. And
At that point, I'm going to go ahead and call it for the night. Congratulations, though. You guys finally showed up at the planet where stuff will happen.
It only took us a couple
An
hours.
entire session.
Well, better late than never.
I mean, can you really blame us? We like getting in character.
I
been
really
a
like,
while,
I really
too,
like getting
so-
drunk.
I just
it's been a-
like I said, it's all funny to me. But especially I find it amusing. Okay, we've got the whole battle fleet. Let's go. There's nothing here.
I know,
There could
we're
be
showing
something
up to
soon.
an old lady's house with a fleet.
Well, I presumably in 2 weeks we'll find out who he is, why he's calling, and maybe the crew will get some answers depending on if they beam down. Good
Over-
night, everybody.
Over on the Takao, Brai's just like, Captain, I recommend we load a photon torpedo. Siblings think alike.
Yeah. At
And
that
hopefully
moment,
next
though,
week we'll get the debut of Captain Valdemar Ramius and the Red October.
Yeah, they can sit up in the space parking lot with everybody else.
Listen, it's if nothing comes of it, it's just a team building exercise. Everyone can go home a bit, more bonded and wiser.
Just
I mean,
remember,
the Ferengi are
some
happy. I mean,
of you people called in favors for this. You
Yeah.
spent favors on this.
I mean, Eli Moore spent actual money with the Ferengi, but favors.
I mean, Graves wasn't going to be using it with Vela for a while.
I vote we call this episode "The Boys Who Cried Wolf."
Go for it. That's a good one.